If Maya hadn't worn her cousin's blazer, she might never have met the man whose signature could change the course of her life, and whose identity she'd mistake entirely. All it took was one name on a cardboard sign, and one wrong man stepping through the arrivals gate. By the time she realized her mistake, it was too late. She was already in his car. Maya Das wasn't supposed to be at the airport. That morning, she'd had an interview for a junior marketing assistant position at a boutique firm downtown. But when her cousin Priya begged her to fill in at the luxury concierge counter at Terminal 3, just for a couple of hours, Maya reluctantly agreed. Priya had come down with food poisoning, and the counter couldn't be left unmanned. "It's just holding a sign, Maya," Priya had groaned over the phone. "You literally just pick the guy up, take him to the hotel, and you're done." Maya had no idea this one favor would alter the entire trajectory of her life. By 3:15 p.m., she stood nervously by the arrivals gate, dressed in Priya's too-tight blazer with the name J. Kapoor scrawled across a white placard. Her long, wavy hair was tucked into a neat ponytail, and she wore minimal makeup, just enough to look presentable. She felt wildly out of place in the sea of actual airport employees, limo drivers, and seasoned concierge professionals as the glass doors whooshed open, passengers trickled out, tourists with roller bags, a frazzled couple with twin toddlers, a businesswoman barking into a phone. Then she saw him, tall, sharply dressed, dark, closely trimmed hair, tanned skin, a crisp, black suit without a wrinkle in sight. He walked like someone who was used to being in charge, confident, purposeful, slightly annoyed by the chaos around him. He made eye contact with her. His eyes, icy gray, nearly silver, narrowed on the sign she held. "Kapoor?" he asked. Voice low and clipped. Maya hesitated but nodded. "Yes, Mr. Kapoor." He raised an eyebrow and smiled faintly. "That's me." He wasn't, but Maya didn't know that. He extended his hand. "Jay." She shook it, barely hiding her surprise at how firm and warm it was. "Maya, I'm here to take you to the Imperial Grand. Your executive suite is ready, and your itinerary is already confirmed." Jay smirked, clearly amused. "Efficient, I like that." On the way to the hotel in the sleek black BMW Priya had arranged, Maya tried to keep things strictly professional. She mentioned the weather, offered him water, and explained that the hotel chef had arranged a personalized menu based on his assistant's requests. Jay listened, half smiling, like someone thoroughly entertained by an inside joke. "So," he said at last, eyes locked on hers through the rearview mirror. "You always do pickups, or was this a special occasion?" Maya's ears turned red. I'm just helping out today. My cousin usually handles this stuff." "Pity. You're better at it than most of the people I meet." She wasn't sure if it was a compliment or a flirtation. Probably both. When they arrived at the hotel, she expected him to head straight inside. Instead, he paused beside her outside the grand marble entrance, looked her squarely in the eyes, and said, "Dinner tonight, 8 p.m. I'd like to get to know the woman who made my arrival more interesting." Maya blinked. "I'm not really, this isn't part of the, isn't that your name on the sign?" he asked, one eyebrow raised in mock challenge. She froze. "Technically, it was." "Okay," she said slowly. "One dinner." Back. In Priya's tiny apartment, Maya was pacing the floor. "Wait," Priya groaned from the couch, looking as pale as ever. "You picked up Mr. J. Kapoor? As in J. Kapoor?" "Yes," Maya said. "Well, I think so. He said his name was Jay." Priya's brow furrowed. "That can't be. J. Kapoor is short for Jitesh Kapoor. He's the 60-year-old CEO of Kapoor Industrial Holdings." Maya stopped pacing. No, this guy was in his 30s, hot. Like rom-com billionaire hot. Are you saying I picked up the wrong guy?" Priya sat up, her face a mix of horror and fascination. "Wait, who did you pick up then?" Maya's phone buzzed. "Jay, looking forward to dinner. Be ready to be impressed." She stared at the message, her heart racing. Who was he? At 8 p.m. sharp, Maya found herself seated across from Jay at the rooftop restaurant of the Imperial Grand. The city skyline shimmered around them, and a light breeze played with the napkin on her lap. He was even more striking under the golden glow of ambient lights. His presence was magnetic, like he was used to commanding attention without trying. They talked about her studies, her part-time jobs, her dreams of becoming a creative strategist. Jay listened intently, asking questions that made her feel seen. Not just heard, but he was evasive about his own work. "Let's just say I dabble in a few things," he said cryptically, sipping his wine. "What kind of things?" He grinned. "Boring business things, you'd fall asleep." She didn't press further, not wanting to ruin the moment. Still, a seed of suspicion began to sprout in her mind. Finally, as dessert arrived, mango souffle and dark chocolate ganache, Maya's curiosity got the better of her. "You're not Jitesh Kapoor, are you?" Jay paused, fork halfway to his mouth, then he chuckled. "No, I'm not." "Then who are you?" He leaned forward, his smile widening like he'd been waiting for this moment. "I'm Jay Mehra, CEO of Mehra Tech." Her mouth fell open. Mehra Tech. The Jay Mehra, the startup prodigy who'd taken a garage AI firm and turned it into a billion-dollar empire in 5 years. The man known for hostile takeovers, zero interviews, and saying no to every investor panel in the country. And she'd picked him up. By mistake? "You let me think." "I didn't lie," he interrupted smoothly. "You asked if I was Kapoor. I said yes. You had a sign that said Jay Kapoor. I figured it was fate." Maya narrowed her eyes. "You could have corrected me." He leaned back with a shrug. "I could have, but then I wouldn't have gotten dinner with you." Her cheeks flamed, but she wasn't sure if it was anger, flattery, or something else. "You tricked me," she said quietly. "I intrigued you," he countered. "There's a difference." But the story was far from over, because the real Jitesh Kapoor would arrive tomorrow, and realize no one had picked him up. And Maya's name was on the sign. And Jay Mehra, charming, mysterious, powerful, had no intention of letting her walk away from this mix-up quietly. Not when he'd decided she was exactly the kind of disruption his perfectly calculated life needed. Maya barely slept that night. Her mind raced in loops, obsessing over every detail of the evening. The rooftop dinner, Jay's amused smirk when he revealed his true identity, the magnetic pull in his voice every time he said her name. She was confused, thrilled, and deeply worried. Because tomorrow morning the real Jay Kapoor, the one who was actually supposed to be picked up, would arrive. And when that happened, Priya's job would be on the line. So would Maya's dignity. And possibly her heart. 9 Ingwam, Terminal 3, arrival. Gate Maya paced back and forth near the concierge counter, holding a new sign, Mr. Jitesh Kapoor, in bold, legible print. Her palms were sweaty, her nerves on high alert. "You don't have to do this," Priya said weakly over the phone. "It was my shift. I'll take the blame if he complains." "No," Maya said quickly, eyes scanning the arriving crowd. "I messed up. I should have double-checked the name. I'll fix this." She had barely finished the sentence when an elderly man emerged through the crowd. White hair slicked back, a navy blue 3-piece suit, rimless glasses, and a briefcase that probably cost more than Maya's entire closet. He walked with purpose, but with the poise of someone who didn't need to rush, like the world moved to accommodate him. That was definitely Jitesh Kapoor. Maya straightened her spine and stepped forward. "Mr. Kapoor, I'm terribly sorry for the confusion yesterday. There was a mix-up." He cut her off with a raised hand. "Where were you?" His voice was calm but authoritative. Not angry, but not forgiving either. There was a miscommunication," Maya explained. "I picked up someone who wasn't you." Mr. Kapoor arched a brow. "I hope it was someone important. I don't take delays lightly." "I understand, sir," she said, bowing slightly. "I've arranged a car and an upgraded suite at the Imperial Grand. Complimentary breakfast, spa access, and a private executive lounge. On the house." For a second, he said nothing. Then a small, approving nod. "Efficient damage control," he muttered. Good, let's go. 10:15 a.m. The Imperial Grandes the bellhop carried Mr. Kapoor's luggage toward the elevator. Maya spotted Jay leaning casually against the concierge desk, sipping a coffee like he owned the place. Because, in a way, he almost did. Maritech was rumored to have recently bought a 12% stake in the hotel group. Their eyes met across the lobby. He grinned. She didn't. She marched straight up to him. You knew, she whispered harshly. Jay tilted his head. Knew what? That the real Kapoor was coming today. You let me believe you were him, Jay chuckled. I told you I wasn't him. Only after dinner still counts. Maya glared at him. Because of you, I almost got my cousin fired. Jay's smile softened a little. Then let me fix it. She crossed her arms. How? He leaned in slightly, voice low. How about I give your cousin's company an exclusive concierge contract for my next 6 conferences? Maya blinked. You'd do that? Jay shrugged. I like rewarding. Initiative. And I like you. Before she could reply, a tall woman in a sharp crimson pantsuit approached. Mr. Mara, your board meeting is in 20 minutes, shall we? Jay turned to Maya, eyes twinkling. Duty calls, but I'll see you again. Don't disappear. And with that, he was gone. 2:30 p.m., Priya's apartment. I'm sorry. What? Priya sat up straight, her half-eaten soup forgotten. He wants to give your company a contract, Maya repeated. Jay Mara? Priya's eyes widened like saucers. The Jay Mara, the tech devil? The man who ghosted an entire IPO pitch meeting because the coffee was weak? Yes, that one. Priya let out a squeal and threw a pillow in the air. Do you know what this means? I won't have to eat instant noodles for a month, Maya. Couldn't help but laugh, then sighed. I still feel like I screwed up. Priya grabbed her hand. You did, technically, but you also pulled off the save of the century. That guy doesn't give anyone the time of day, and he had dinner. With you? I don't think I'll ever understand why. Maybe he likes you, Priya said, wiggling her eyebrows. You're cute, honest, and you weren't falling all over him like the rest of the world probably does. Maya bit her lip. But he's way out of my league, and he's a CEO. His world is so different. Priya shrugged. Then maybe it's time someone shook up his world. That night, Maya's inbox from Jay Mara subject and invitation time 9:41 p.m. Maya, there's a gala tomorrow night. Tech meets fashion, black tie, pretentious wine, the works. I'd like you to come, as my guest. Before you say no, just know that I don't usually ask twice. But for you, I might consider breaking that rule. Maya stared at the email, rereading it at least 6 times. She knew she'd be wildly out of place at a gala. She didn't own anything remotely formal. Her budget could barely stretch to rent, let alone gowns and heels. But something inside her stirred, something brave. A voice whispered, Go, just this once. See what happens. Next day, boutique fittings, last-minute panic. Thanks to Priya's frantic calls and some generous store credit from the concierge company, thanks to Jay's name, Maya found herself twirling in front of a mirror in a midnight blue satin gown that hugged her in all the right places. Her long hair was styled in loose waves. A touch of gloss shimmered on her lips. She barely recognized the reflection staring back at her. You're gonna make headlines, Priya declared proudly. Just don't trip. Maya swallowed hard. No promises. 9:02 p.m. The gala. The room sparkled like something out of a movie. Crystal chandeliers, champagne towers, and a crowd dressed in millions of dollars worth of fabric and diamonds. Paparazzi flanked the red carpet. Security was tight. The air buzzed with ambition, whispers of deals and the clinking of flutes. And in the middle of it all stood Jay Mara, spotting her from across the room. He broke away from a group of executives and walked toward her, gaze unwavering. He stopped just in front of her, giving a slow, appreciative once-over. You're late, he said. I was being turned into Cinderella, she replied nervously. He grinned. Well, you've arrived. And trust me, you're the most real person in this entire room. He offered his arm. She took it. Together they stepped into the crowd and into a world Maya never imagined she'd enter. But not everyone at the gala was glad to see her. Across the room, a pair of eyes narrowed. Someone else had planned to be Jay Mara's date tonight, and Maya's accidental presence threatened to unravel more than just egos. The mix-up at the airport had triggered a chain of events no one could have predicted, and the real trouble was only just beginning. The first thing Maya noticed was that the gala crowd didn't look at her. They looked through her. In that shimmering ballroom of elite power players and high society socialites, Maya felt like a question mark in a world of exclamation points. She was too aware of the rental gown hugging her body, too conscious of the thin gold necklace she'd borrowed from Priya, and far too aware that she was walking beside Jay Mara, an enigma, a legend, and one of the most unattainable men in the country. But Jay, he didn't seem to care. He walked with her like they belonged together, his hand resting lightly on her lower back, occasionally leaning down to whisper something witty or absurd, just to make her laugh. And laugh she did, nervously at first, then genuinely, as his easy confidence started to calm her nerves. Until she felt it, that stare, piercing, cold, unrelenting. From across the room stood a woman with a glass of champagne in one hand, a silver clutch in the other, and fire in her eyes. She was stunning, tall, poised, wearing an emerald gown that shimmered with every move. Her hair was slicked into a perfect chignon, and her makeup was red carpet flawless, and she was staring at Maya like she was the stain on her designer carpet. "Who is that?" Maya whispered to Jay as they approached the champagne tower. He followed her gaze and sighed. "That's Tanya Roy." "Should I know her?" Jay looked mildly uncomfortable. "She's complicated." Maya raised an eyebrow. "Complicated how?" "She's the daughter of an investor in Meritech. We've had history." Maya's stomach turned. Not that kind of history," he said quickly. "She's ambitious. She wanted something I wasn't willing to give." "Which was?" "My last name." Maya blinked before she could process that Tanya was gliding toward them like a missile in stilettos. "Jay," she purred, planting 2 air kisses on either cheek. "You look divine. And who's this?" Her eyes slid to Maya like a predator sizing up a bunny rabbit. "Maya Das," Maya said, extending a hand. "Nice to meet you." Tanya ignored the hand. "I didn't realize you were bringing a date," she said to Jay, with the practiced venom of someone who knew exactly how to weaponize words. Jay's jaw tightened. "I like to keep things unpredictable." "Oh, that's not like you at all," Tanya said, her gaze never leaving Maya. "You're usually so methodical, careful, controlled." Maya smiled tightly. "Maybe you just bring that out in him." Tanya's lips curled. "We'll see how long it lasts." She turned and walked away without another word, her heels clicking against the marble like the ticking of a bomb. Jay exhaled. "Sorry, she's territorial." Maya looked up at him. "Why do I feel like I just stepped into an episode of Succession?" Jay laughed, but it didn't reach his eyes. Later that evening, Maya had never imagined a world like this. The chandelier-lit ballroom, the endless champagne, the soft jazz from the live quartet, the hush of high-stakes conversations behind golden curtains. But beneath the glitter, she sensed something else. Tension. Like every smile was laced with calculation. Every toast, a strategy. And in the middle of it all, Jay moved like a king, effortless, magnetic, constantly approached by CEOs, venture capitalists, and media elites. But despite the whirlwind of attention, he kept returning to her, like she was the only anchor in the room. That made her feel seen, valued, dangerously wanted. "I'm going to steal you," he murmured in her ear, moments before leading her away. From the crowd and out to the private terrace. The night air was cool and crisp. The city below shimmered with lights. They stood under a canopy of stars, quiet for a moment. "You belong here, you know," Jay said suddenly. Maya turned to him, surprised. "No, I don't. You do. You're smart, grounded, sharp when you want to be. You didn't flinch when Tanya tried to gut you with her words. I was flinching on the inside." Jay chuckled, then grew serious. "You've got something. The people in that room don't. You're not playing a role, you're just You. Maya swallowed, unsure what to say. Her heart was pounding. She wanted to believe him, but before she could speak, a voice interrupted. Jay, we need to talk, now. It was Rishi, Jay's assistant, tall, lean, and usually unshakably calm. Tonight he looked pale, sweating. What's wrong? Jay asked. Rishi hesitated. There's been a data breach. Jay's body stiffened. What kind? A serious one. Internal files, AI architecture, prototypes, everything. And it's been leaked to the press. Jay swore under his breath. How? We have double encrypted firewalls. Rishi glanced at Maya, clearly hesitant to speak in front of her. It's okay, Jay said. Say it. Rishi sighed. Someone used your credentials, your login, from an IP traced to this hotel. Jay's eyes went cold. Maya's heart dropped. Wait, are you saying he did it or someone who's here? Rishi looked between them. We don't know yet, but someone close. Jay clenched his fists. Shut it down. Call Anand. No one leaves until we isolate the leak. Rishi nodded and vanished back inside. Jay turned to Maya, his voice low and tight. I need to go handle this. Maya nodded. Of course. He paused. Don't leave. Please. Won't. And just like that he was gone, swallowed by the storm. Inside the ballroom, while Jay was dealing with his collapsing digital empire, Maya re-entered the gala, suddenly aware of how alone she was. She moved to a quieter corner, away from the murmurs and tension in the room, but someone found her anyway. Tough night? It was Tanya. Maya straightened. You could say that. Tanya took a sip of champagne. You know, you're not the first girl to think she's special to him. He does this every few years, finds a charity case, dresses her up, parades her around, then tosses her out when he's done playing Cinderella. Maya stiffened. I don't think I asked for your opinion. No, Tanya said, leaning in, but you're getting it anyway, because when this little fling ends, and it will, you'll realize you were just a prop in his drama, and props are always disposable. Maya held her gaze. You think I don't know I'm out of my depth here? You think I don't wake up terrified that I'm making a fool of myself? Tanya blinked. Maya continued. The difference is, I don't pretend to be something I'm not. And maybe that's why he brought me tonight, not you. Tanya's smile vanished, and Maya walked away, heart racing, knees shaking, but feeling like for once she'd held her ground. Back in the suite. Hours later, Jay finally returned after 2 a.m., exhausted, jaw clenched. Maya was curled on the couch, dozing off in her gown. You stayed, he whispered. She stirred. You asked me to. He sat beside her. It was bad, but we contained it, still trying to figure out who had access to my credentials. Do you have enemies? Jay gave a humorless laugh. I have a fan club of enemies. Maya hesitated. You think it was Tanya? Jay didn't answer. Instead, he looked at her, really looked at her, and said softly, You should go. Before this mess gets worse, before it touches you. I don't run from messes, she said, not anymore. And in that moment, he leaned in and kissed her. It wasn't rushed. It wasn't cautious. It was deliberate, full of all the tension they'd both been holding since the airport. And when they finally pulled apart, Jay whispered, This wasn't supposed to happen, but I'm not sorry it did. Neither was she. But trouble was still brewing because someone had used Jay's name to steal sensitive tech, and whoever it was had left behind a trail that, if followed, might lead not just to betrayal, but to Maya. The kiss had been perfect. It was the kind of kiss Maya had only read about, slow, deliberate, and powerful enough to leave her breathless. But reality, ever cruel and impatient, didn't let her hold on to that moment for long. Because by morning, the headlines had changed. Tech CEO suffers massive leak. Insider sabotage suspected. Jay Mara's empire shaken. Who betrayed him? Maratech data breach traced to hotel staff. Sources say woman may be involved. Maya stared at her phone, her blood freezing in her veins. The last headline included a blurry photo, one taken at the gala, of her, with Jay standing close, Too close. 9:17 a.m. The Imperial Grand Maya stormed into the private lounge past the concierge desk and startled security guards. "Where is he?" she asked. The assistant, Rishi, stood up. "Miss Das, I think it's best you left. I'm not leaving until someone explains why I'm being dragged into this circus." Rishi didn't budge. "This isn't personal." "It is to me," she snapped. "You're letting media spin a story where I look like some kind of honey trap." At that moment, the door behind him opened. Jay stood there, dressed in a crisp gray suit, face unreadable. "Let her in," he said quietly. Inside Jay's private suite, Maya paced while Jay sat, elbows on his knees, staring at the floor. "So?" she demanded. "You're just going to let people believe I did this?" Jay didn't look up. "There's more." She stopped pacing. "The data wasn't just accessed from the hotel," he said. "It was transferred using a personal device. My credentials were used on a guest Wi-Fi account registered to Priya Das." Maya's breath caught. "Wait, what?" Jay finally met her eyes. "Your cousin. The login traces back to a device in her name. That's no." Maya shook her head. "She wouldn't. She's not even technical. She doesn't know how to hack anything." "Then someone used her login," Jay said. "Or her device." Maya felt the room spin. "You think I had access to her laptop or something?" "I don't know what to think," he admitted. "But the board wants answers, fast, and right now you're the only person who's been close enough." The pain in his voice made it worse. He didn't want to suspect her, but he had to, because someone had made sure that digital breadcrumbs led straight to her. Later that morning, Priya's apartment, Maya burst through the door, laptop in hand. "Priya, we have a problem." Priya, still in pajamas, blinked from the couch. "Did you just sprint across town?" "Yes, look." She shoved her phone at her cousin. "This is your laptop, right?" Priya frowned. "Yeah, why?" "They used your login at the hotel. Someone accessed Mehratek's systems from your device." Priya's face paled. "What? I don't even have Jay's passwords." "I know," Maya said. "That's what makes this a setup." "Wait, do you think I did it?" Maya's voice cracked. "No, but someone wants it to look like you or me." They sat in silence, the tension thick between them. Priya bit her lip. "Okay, there was something weird. A guy asked me for help 2 nights ago, claimed his Wi-Fi wasn't working. He was dressed like hotel staff." Maya leaned in. "What did you do?" "I let him use my laptop for 2 minutes," Priya whispered, horrified. "Just to reset the login. I didn't think Maya, I swear." Maya's heart sank. That was it. He planted something, a worm maybe. Her phone buzzed, an unknown number. She answered. "Hello?" A mechanical voice. "You're getting too close. Back off, or the next leak won't just be digital." The line went dead. 12:40 p.m. Mehratek headquarters. Jay stared at the security footage Maya had managed to pull from the hotel's internal system, courtesy of a very annoyed front desk manager and her insistence on justice. "There," Maya pointed. "That man. He posed as Hotel IT. That's Priya's laptop." Jay zoomed in. The man's badge was fuzzy, but the logo wasn't Mehratek's or the hotel's. "This isn't random," Jay muttered. "Someone knew where you'd be, how to use your cousin as a link. It was planned." Maya crossed her arms. "So I'm not your leak anymore?" Jay stood. "You never were. I'm sorry for doubting you." There was a quiet, almost broken sincerity in his voice. She didn't say anything. He stepped closer. "I didn't want to believe it. But when the board threatens to call in legal teams and remove you as a liability..." "You hesitated," Maya finished. "You should have trusted me." "I'm not good at trust," he said simply. She stared at him for a long time. Then, "Learn? Because someone wants to ruin you, and now they're coming after me too." That night, Jay's penthouse, Rishi had found something. An old contractor from a competitor firm, BitWraith Solutions, had once pitched a software prototype, nearly identical to one of Mehratek's recent projects. His name? Kunal Bhardwaj. He was recently let go from his firm and had been seen at the hotel 3 days ago, posing as security consultant. Maya and Jay poured over the connections. Kunal once applied for an internship at Meritech, Jay said. Didn't make the cut, he always resented me. And now he's framing your company, Maya added. And dragging down anyone close to you. Jay stood. We need proof, enough to press charges. Maya hesitated. I think I might know how. The setup, they lured Kunal with a fake invitation, disguised as an exclusive pitch night for tech consultants. The bait, a new AI proposal worth $30 million, the location, a private room in the same hotel. Jay would be present. So would Maya, but hidden cameras would record everything. You sure you want to do this? Jay asked, moments before the sting. Maya nodded. He dragged me into this mess. I'm going to drag him out of it. The sting. Kunal showed up, dressed slick, carrying a flash drive and a smug smile. He didn't recognize the room was bugged. Smart of you to finally ditch that clingy assistant, he said as Maya sat across from him. She almost ruined everything. Maya blinked. You mean Priya? He laughed. Cute girl. Too bad she's the reason this plan even worked. You'd be surprised what people hand over when you wear a badge and sound technical. Maya forced a smile. So all this, the breach, the media frenzy? Classic misdirection, Kunal bragged. Your precious CEO won't see it coming. Click, the hidden mic picked it all up. Jay stepped out from behind the door, flanked by 2 security officers. Kunal's face drained of color. Wait, this is over, Jay said coldly. 24 hours later, the news exploded again, but this time with a different angle. Bit Wraith Mole exposed in Meritech leak. Unsung hero. Maya Das helps CEO unmask saboteur. Maya's photo this time wasn't blurred or malicious. It was front and center, with Jay beside her, his arm around her waist. Back at the rooftop, where it all began, Jay looked out at the skyline, then at Maya. You didn't have to help. But you did. You saved me. I just wanted the truth, she replied. He smiled. And now that we have it, what happens next? Maya shrugged, smiling. Depends. Are you still into random women who steal your car ride from the airport? Jay laughed. Only if they keep showing up at the right place at the wrong time. Maya raised her glass. To wrong CEOs, wrong signs, and the right kind of chaos. Their glasses clinked, and this time there was no one watching, only the stars and the city they'd somehow conquered together. The chaos had settled, but Maya's heart hadn't. Kunal Bhardwaj was in custody. The media had cleared her name. Jay's company had begun recovery mode. The press painted her as the unexpected hero who helped save Meritech from corporate sabotage. But in the days that followed, things started to shift in ways Maya hadn't anticipated. The spotlight had changed, and so had Jay. 3 days later, Meritech headquarters, 47th floor. Maya stepped out of the elevator into Jay's office suite. Nerves jangling, he hadn't called, hadn't texted. Ever since Kunal's arrest, Jay had gone silent. She wasn't expecting a parade or flowers, but she did expect a conversation. After everything they'd been through, the kiss, the setup, the mutual trust, they were connected. Now, right? But as she approached his glass-walled office, she stopped short. Jay wasn't alone. A tall, elegant woman stood beside him, laughing softly. She was all polished edges and high heels, her hand resting on Jay's arm like it belonged there. Maya didn't recognize her, but the way Jay leaned slightly toward her, that familiar body language, made something in Maya's chest tighten. She turned away before either of them could see her. Later that day, coffee with Priya. He's probably just busy, Priya said, sipping her iced caramel macchiato. The man's running a company that almost imploded last week. Maya stirred her coffee. It's not that he's just busy, he's distant, like what we went through didn't mean anything. Priya leaned forward. Did you ask him about? I didn't get the chance. He was with someone today, some woman. They looked close. Priya raised a brow. Tall, red heels, Looks like she eats PR interns for breakfast. Yeah, that's Tanisha Malhotra. His ex-fiancé. Maya froze. Ex? They called it off 2 years ago, but she's still connected to some board members and rumors say she wants back in. Business and otherwise. Maya laughed bitterly. Of course. Just when I start to feel something real, the plot twists like a bad soap opera. Priya gave her a sympathetic look. Do you want me to hack into her calendar? Maya blinked. What? Nothing. 2 days later, unexpected invitation. The silence from Jay stretched into its 5th day when Maya received an envelope. Thick paper, embossed ink. You are cordially invited to the Meritech Founders Brunch, a celebration of resilience and partnership, and beneath